Where there's a foal, you can pretty much guarantee there'll be a Lulu. She is not really venturing far from Kate and the foal, to the point where I'm having to water Lulu as well. I mentioned in the video yesterday that I've been taking water to Kate just because the new mums don't tend to go to the other end of the field where the stream and the water bucket are. So I've been taking her water. Although actually this morning I brought her something, she didn't want it. So I'm guessing during the night she has gone for a good drink. So that's fine. She must be feeling confident enough to go to that side of the field. But I've also had to water Lulu because I think she's been doing the same thing. She's been sticking where Kate is, and she hasn't even come in for a breakfast this morning to bring you hay out, your noodle. If you were following last foaling season, you'll remember that Lulu was like pretty obsessed with the foals. Well, Finn, really, it was Finn. Finn was the first one born and Lulu couldn't keep away. The problem is with that though, is that the mares aren't always appreciative of that. So I was watching her really carefully this time. And actually what happened was when the foal was born, Lulu wasn't in the field. Charm is so weird. She's quite happy with this bag. You don't want the hay, you just want the bag. So to tell the Lulu foaling story, Kate's foal arrived early hours of yesterday morning. Lulu was actually in the yard at this point. She wasn't in the field. I had Kate in the field with Charm. Lulu was meant to be in, but she wanted to come into the yard. I had Autumn and Edie in the barn with Storm, and Lulu's been a bit attached to Edie. So we've been following Edie and Autumn about. She has her faves and she goes through phases. Storm used to be a big fave. At the moment, it seems to be Edie and Autumn. Well, it was until new one arrived. So she was in the yard. She likes pottering around the yard as well. There's quite a lot of grass and weeds to nibble on. So she was in the yard. And on my 1:30 check, she was still stood in the yard. I said, do you want to go in the field? She wasn't bothered. She was just standing in the yard. Fine. Went to do my 2 o'clock check. She was stood at the gate wanting to come into the field. And maybe I should have taken that as a sign because it was on the 2 a.m. check that we found the foal, didn't we? So at some point between the hours of 1:30 and 2 o'clock, Kate had just entirely foaled, gone from like 0 to done in that time. Thanks, Kate, for not letting me be there. So Lulu came into the field at that point, and to start with, she was fine. And then came a little period where I thought I might have to take her out. She was just a little bit too keen to get close. I thought she's going to either stress Kate out, although I don't think Kate sees her as much of a threat exactly, but she didn't want her near the foal. So I thought either she is going to stress Kate out or she's going to clock a kick. She's going to get kicked because she's putting herself where she's not welcome. So I almost had to take you out, and then she just seemed to chill out. But she doesn't go more than about this far away from the foal. So she's not going too close. She's kind of realised she's not welcome super close, but she's also not going far away. And if Kate wanders, she calls, and you wander after them, don't you? You don't let them get too far out of your sight. So she is midwifing, but from an appropriate distance, which I appreciate because it's keeping you safer. You're doing a much better job of self-preservation this year, so I'm glad about that. Although it is making it so I'm having to make sure she's eating and drinking, because normally you'd come in for that, wouldn't you? You'd go over to the bucket or the stream at the other end of the field and you'd come in for your breakfast, but you're not, because Kate isn't. I was asked as well why Nell and Linnet aren't in this field, and that's just because it's just too much for her, really. It's just too many bodies. She just wants to keep everyone away from the foal at this point. She's a little bit wary of Linnet. She isn't wary of Nell. She'd boss Nell, so Nell would perhaps be fine because Kate would just say, go away, like she does with these two. Whereas Edie, she was a little bit on edge to start with until she could see that Edie was like, I don't really care about your baby. If you remember, when Linnet and Kate met in the field, Linnet was moving Kate on quite a lot. I think she wanted to talk to her. I think she wanted to say hello, and she was curious, and she had her ears forward, but Kate kept moving. Kate didn't want to talk to Linnet, and with a foal up for a tiny one, she'll be exactly the same, but more. And it's so many bodies then that it just makes it easy for her to get cornered, trapped, feel like she needs to really guard that baby. So just keeping it low stress for Kate's sake. So that is why Nell and Linnet aren't in here. Storm is with them. Then I've got a plan for Linnet, which I'll do in another video. So that's how it's going in the barn field.